Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. We gotta go over my picks for this weekend NFL and for college football. But let's do NFL first. So let's get started with the Saints versus Falcons. Now this is very interesting because the Falcons just played the Saints 2 weeks ago, and now they have film on Taysom Hill. We'll see kind of the defensive adjustments that they're gonna make, or if they're gonna be able to make. Um, the fact that the Falcons just blew the doors off of Vegas, in a way, you have to take that into account going into this game. But also, again, there are other factors like, well, again, lost a Pacific time team going to Eastern time zone at a noon game. And then the fact that Las Vegas, I mean, they're up and down through the season anyways. They're not like a consistent good team like a Saints or something like that. So, plus with the way the defense has been playing, I mean, even the Falcons can manage Taysom Hill a little bit better this game. They still have to figure out how to protect Matt Ryan. So I feel like Saints will win this game. I have it being a little bit closer though than the first game was. So I'm going to take the Saints just by a touchdown only in like a 17-10 type of game. Next, I got Lions versus Bears. This one, in my opinion, it's the only hard thing I had picking this game was that the Lions. I mean, we've seen it with the Falcons already and stuff. Just like when the coach gets fired, a lot of times the players, for some reason, like to win or play better for the interim coach. So that might be a reason why the Lions win, especially if the Lions should have won against the Bears in the opener. But since I'm gonna have Chicago win this game though, just because I feel like their defense will be able to suffocate the Lions' offense. If the Panthers' defense can suffocate the Lions' offense, that's how you know the Bears can do it. So I'm got the Bears winning. Again, lower scoring, closer game. Browns versus Titans is a very interesting one. Expect this game to be over in 5 minutes because both teams are going to run the ball, and both defenses aren't the best, which means a lot of rushing yards and a lot of rushing touchdowns are probably going to be scored. But so since both teams like to run the ball and both teams are effective at it, it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. And we all know at this point Ryan Tannehill is better than Baker Mayfield, so therefore the edge, especially at home in Tennessee, goes to the Titans. This could be a potential close game, but I'm pretty sure Titans are going to win. The next one's the Bengals versus Dolphins. Dolphins automatically. Jaguars versus Vikings. Vikings automatically. Raiders versus Jets. Raiders automatically. Nice to get those automatics out of the way with. Colts versus Texans. So this is a very interesting one because you think the Colts should win, but the Texans have been playing very well recently. So you may be thinking, oh well, I'm gonna pick the Texans. Wrong. I'm still gonna pick the Colts, and here's why. It's because they're good defensively on that defensive line. They're pretty good. Anyway, as we know, Houston's offensive line is not that great. Plus, Will Fuller is now suspended for 6 games, and Houston's starting corner Roby is also suspended 6 games. So I feel like that might have to affect Houston at least somewhat. So therefore, I'm gonna take the Colts to win this one and keep their playoff hopes alive. Because Houston's not playing for anything. The Colts are playing for their playoff hopes, so they gotta make sure they win these type of games. Rams versus Cardinals. This one's a very interesting one, just because I know Arizona has the capability, especially at home, to beat them, but they've been struggling, especially on the defensive end. They've gone from 6-3 to 6-5, just like that. And because Arizona's defense is not that good, and I feel like they're not going to get as much pressure, that means the Rams, Goff will be comfortable. Therefore, he can make his good decisions and execute the offense because he won't get pressured, and that will lead to a Rams win. It's going to be a close game, divisional game, so it's going to be a close game, but Rams will win. Giants versus Seahawks. Seahawks will win. I'm pretty sure Deion Jones is out, which means Seahawks will definitely win. Eagles versus Packers. This is a very interesting one because Packers were clearly a better team than the Eagles last year, but yet the Eagles won at Green Bay. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But I mean, if the Eagles are smart enough since the Packers' run defense is not that great, they would run the ball if they want to win this game and not rely on Carson Wentz. They would run the ball. Just run the ball every single time. Um, but I know the Eagles aren't smart enough to do that, so therefore the Packers will win this game. I still feel like for some reason it might actually be a close game, like a like a 20-12 type of game, but which will be one possession worth. But I feel like Packers should win this game. Patriots versus Chargers. Now this one intrigued me because it was at LA. I thought, okay, the Chargers are playing well offense. I'm like, okay, I can see the Chargers win this game. But again, it's just that factor of Bill Belichick against a new quarterback. He's usually always going to win, so that's why I have to stick with the Patriots here. Broncos versus Chiefs. I have no idea why this is the Sunday Night Football game because the Broncos aren't that great this year. So this will be a blowout Chiefs win on Sunday Night Football. And then the Cowboys versus, the Washington Steelers. Washington versus Steelers here on Monday night. Well, not the Monday Night Football game, but it's on Monday night. Steelers are going to win this one easily. Washington's offensive line sucks, so Steelers are going to get all the pressure in the world and pressure Alex Smith for days and get the win easily. And then Bills versus 49ers. This one's kind of intriguing. It's because even though the 49ers haven't had the best record, they're kind of a team where you can't count out. They could have a potential upset, as you saw with the Rams last week. And the 49ers defensively is real legit. And Josh Allen, he's going to get a good Patriots defense and stuff. But other than that, it's like this is going to be one of the best defenses he's ever gone against. So I'm going to actually take the 49ers to get the upset in Arizona. I know it sounds weird, but 49ers get the upset barely to keep their potentially even playoff hopes alive. And then the Cowboys versus Ravens. Even if Lamar Jackson's not playing, we saw that Trace McSorley can do a pretty good job because Robert Griffin III stunk up the joint. And also on the Cowboys side, it's just like their offensive line's injured up. They're not going to be able to block Ravens' defensive front, which would cause problems for Andy Dalton and stuff. So the Ravens will win at home. So those are my picks. I got the Saints, Bears, Titans, Dolphins, Vikings, Raiders, Colts, Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Patriots, Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers, 49ers. Okay. So now to go over my college football top 5 games of the week. Now there's one matchup that is in the works that may or may not happen. But it's 13 BYU versus 18 Coastal Carolina this Saturday. Now, because of COVID problems in the Liberty program, they're going to find out real soon, a little bit after my podcast, like if they're going to be able to play or not. And if not, then that's where BYU is going to slide in. So it's still a valuable game. College game names are going to be there and stuff. And if that game happens, it would be a very interesting game. Like the BYU offense versus Coastal Carolina defense, I would easily give the edge to BYU offense. But the Coastal Carolina offense versus BYU defense, while BYU defense has put up good statistical numbers and stuff, I would actually favor the Coastal Carolina offense, just because as we saw against, as BYU played against Houston, that against a good passing attack like Coastal Carolina has, they could be had on defense, and Coastal Carolina can score at least 20 plus, which would be above BYU's defensive average right now. They can get some points, and I wouldn't call this one. I would be shocked that this one was a blowout. I mean, we thought back when Boise State was ranked and they were playing and they were hosting BYU, we thought, okay, that's gonna be close, but ended up being a blowout for some reason. But I expect this one to be close, or at least close until the fourth quarter before potentially BYU pulls away. But I would take BYU in like a 42-24 type of game, but it would be like a 28-24 going to the fourth quarter type of thing. It would be a close game. And then if it stays with Liberty and Coastal Carolina, that still should be a good game. But with the Liberty quarterback testing positive, I would assume Coastal Carolina wins that easily. Okay, so now to go to the top 5 that I have. Um, okay, number 5, you got 3 Clemson versus Virginia Tech 4-5. It's a Saturday night game. You may be wondering why this is games in the top 5. Well, the first reason is because on paper there are not a lot of good games this weekend. The other reason is because this is a trap game for Clemson. Because if they win this game, they're in the ACC championship. So they got to win this game and take care of business. But if they, but here's the thing though: Virginia Tech is a really, really good offensive team, whereas the opponent they faced last week in Pittsburgh is not. And as we saw again, and Boston College, I feel like is a pretty good offensive team. Not like Virginia Tech's a better offensive team, but Boston College is a pretty good offensive team when we saw the defense struggle against Boston College. So, I mean, I feel like Virginia Tech will be able to put a lot of points up on the board against Clemson. Now, I feel like it's a thing where it might be close in the second half, and then Clemson will eventually pull away. So I would have Clemson winning by like a 49-31 type of very offensive game to that secure themselves in the AC championship. 4, you got 4 Ohio State versus Michigan State 2-3. Noon game, Fox. On ABC. Again, here's why this game is in my top 5 for a good game. As we saw, Ohio State, especially defensively, is just not as good as last year. Therefore, Michigan State, if they do the same thing they did against Northwestern, which Northwestern is a good defense, run the ball a lot, dominate time possession, and not only when you run the ball, but have the quarterback run specifically. Now, it has to be, I wouldn't do as much design runs just because then Ohio State would be more prepared for that because they watch film and stuff, but have your quarterback run as much as possible, and that's your success to winning. And as we saw Michigan State's defense, I mean, they're not great in mano a mano, but one thing they are good at is they can force a lot of turnovers, and therefore they can keep themselves in the game. So I feel like it'll be a close game in the first half before Ohio State eventually pulls away and have like a 38-20 type of game. Next, you got the third game is West Virginia 5-3 versus Iowa State 9 Iowa State 7-2. It's on the line here. If Iowa State wins this game, they're in the Big 12 championship, and then if they lose this game, then they're not in the Big 12 championship because Oklahoma State has a tiebreaker against it. Oklahoma State would get in. So Iowa State's dreams would come crashing down. And West Virginia is a sneaky opponent. They can easily upset Iowa State. I feel like it'd be a close physical defensive battle here. But I'm going to take Iowa State to survive by field goal to advance to the Big 12 championship game. Even though I feel like they're overrated. 2, you got 5 Texas A&M versus Auburn 5-3. So this is the last test for A&M, in my opinion. Maybe Ole Miss could be a test for them last week, but this might be the last test for them. It's at Auburn. Auburn's come off a humiliating loss in their rivalry game against Alabama, so they're going to be hungry and looking to take it down A&M against a top 5 team and kind of ruin their season. And expect this to be a close defensive game because A&M ain't going to outscore Auburn, and it's not. So I just feel like Auburn's going to win like by a touchdown and like a very low scoring close game, like 23-16 type of game. It's going to come down to turnover battles and who can win off those turnovers. And last but not least, obviously, is 12 Indiana versus 16 Wisconsin. Well, the bad news for Indiana, as I mentioned the other day on my podcast, they're starting quarterbacks out for the season. If you're Wisconsin after a game embarrassed by Northwestern, here's your chance for redemption, basically. Playing a ranked team with a backup quarterback at home. You got to beat this team if you're Wisconsin. Now, I think Indiana's defense will keep them in this game for a while, but I feel like Wisconsin will eventually pull away in the fourth to get the upset. Well, not much of an upset now that Indiana's starting quarterbacks out in 24-10 type of game. So there you have it. So again, I have Clemson winning by 18, Ohio State winning by 18, Iowa State by field goal, A&M by touchdown, and Wisconsin by 2 touchdowns. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel if you want about me. Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful weekend.